how did you get into triathlon? What's your journey? Because I find it so interesting. Like I've been talking to a couple ultra runners really lately, and I know my own path to triathlon was something I could see myself doing a sprint, but like Ironman was so far off, such an impossible thing to do. What's your journey?
So I was in the military from 99 to 09.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's tough to do anything fitness related when you're moving and deploying and all this sort of stuff. So you end up hating doing workouts because you have to do the military workouts and you pass the PT test twice a year. So my friend and I he was a runner. He was a distance runner. I was more of a sprinter. So we used to always joke back and forth, that I'm a better athlete. He's a better athlete. And I once said, why don't we do an Ironman and see who's better? And he bowed out of that and like, no big deal. So it had escaped my mind. I got out of the Navy in 09, and that 2010, I went to Christmas with my dad. And his wife at the time walks up to me. She asks, or it might have even been 2009. And she goes, how you like being out of the Navy, Rob? And my dad, before I could even answer, he goes, he's loving life. Look at him. He's fat. And like, that was like my wake-up call that I needed, that I had gained probably 25 pounds in 4 months of being out of the military. Like, I just didn't care about working out because I didn't have to. So I started getting back into workouts, for the whole next year, just trying different things. Back in the gym every day, lifting, playing basketball, doing all that. We did a Biggest Loser contest in January of 11. And I lost like 3 pounds in a month. And I was pissed. So I came back to my circle and I said, I need a goal that I can do. So I was like, I want to do a 70.3 Ironman, a half Ironman. And I wanted to do it in 2013. I want to do Miami 2013, the 70.3. And it was 2009. I'll train for 18 months. I'll do a couple races to get used to it. And then we'll do Miami. And I started, blogging at the time, which I think the site might still be up, but I haven't used it in years. And that's when I did my first couple sprints. And then I was like, all right.
So before we get to how far of were you a swimmer? Were you a cyclist? No. Obviously, you said you'd sprint. I mean, I had the same path. I was a sprinter. I never ran over a mile. So football practice.
Football was probably the most running I did. And even in the military, we did like our Army Navy football game. And, your PT test is like, I think the longest I was running at the time was like 4 to 5 miles once a week. Right. So that was it. I'd never run a 10K, never anything beyond that. Swimming, I couldn't swim 25 yards without taking a break. Cycling, I hadn't been on a bike since I was a kid. So like why I jumped right into triathlon just blows my mind. But
and aiming at a half Ironman. Like it wasn't like you just aimed at a sprint, which would be a lot.
Right. So I was like, a month later, I found out I decided to take a new job down here in Florida because I was up in Maryland at the time. And I found there was a local sprint. So like, cool, I can train for it. 600-yard swim, 18-mile bike, 5K run. I can do that. I felt like I could do it. And I did do it. And it was like, I did like 2 hours and 17 minutes, which is absurd for the amount of time. Like I was just really just out of shape and horrible. Coached myself, so I didn't know what I was doing. I only rode my bike once. So then it was a matter of like, in 2013 came, and I was not running an Ironman. I was not running Miami. But I ended up running Miami in 2015. But yeah, essentially it was, I got into triathlon to not derail this question because I needed a goal to, I'm very like, if I have a destination, I'll train better instead of just like, oh, I want to lose weight. Like, just so open-ended. And triathlon was that goal.